So welcome back after our lunch break. Hopefully everyone's well refreshed for the afternoon sessions. We have some more presentations here before we wrap up the stream here, and then everything's going to be in the main stage later on. So we're going to follow the same format as earlier, quick 5-minute demonstrations from all the companies that are presenting. Some of them are here and presenting in person, but also we have plenty of people joining us online, and some presenters were not able to make it to the venue. So they've sent some pre-recorded presentations. So don't be startled if you just see slides with no presenter on the lectern. Just as a reminder, please do use the Umbrella platform, because this is our way to connect both the virtual and in-person delegates today. So it's a great way to schedule meetings, reach out to potential partners and clients, and also schedule both in-person meetings if you're both attending at the venue, or also video online meetings straight into the platform for people that are not here today. So with that being said, I'm not going to hold our presenters any longer. So I would like to welcome Remy Schimmel from ID4. Hopefully I pronounced that right. But yeah, welcome Remy. And yeah.
Thank you very much, Marianne. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm the first one after lunch. Hope you had a good lunch and you're not going to fall asleep, hopefully. I'm here to present ID4 today. So we're just going to go through ID4 solutions and our strategic partners into the market and client testimonials. So ID4 provide basically digital customer lifecycle management solutions. Firstly, before I jump into ID4, my name is Remy. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of ID4. I'm very pleased to present to you today. And I all would like to welcome you, both physically, and I know we have some people online as well. So what is ID4? So who are we? ID4 is a Swiss software company that provides digital client lifecycle management solutions. So basically what we do, we help organizations to onboard clients digitally, but also to manage the client lifecycle throughout the stages, whilst meeting regulatory requirements such as anti-money laundering or know your customer. All our solutions can be off the shelves or tailored to your organization's specific requirements, processes, governance, and systems. For that, what we have delivered and developed, we have developed core processes in order to manage the client lifecycle management. So from client onboarding to AML KYC review, client maintenance, for example, where we need to change the record when there's a change of circumstances of a client, and ultimately the client offboarding. But in order to enrich those processes, we have partners and we have selected the best-in-class technology provider to provide online identification and document verification, electronic signature, AML screening, document exchange, contract generation, and audit process flow.
Can you just move a little bit the microphone?
Sure. Oh, apologies. Can you hear me now?
If you just move it a little bit away.
Here?
Yeah, have a bit of an icon.
Is that okay now? Okay.
Yeah, you can.
All right, apologies for that. So what I was saying is we have developed strategic partnerships for all our enabling processors. And when we look at our ecosystem today, so basically we have our strategic partner Appway for the front end, the process flow, and also the document generation. We also work with Signatis for the electronic signature, on FIDO for anything that is online identification, so online identifications and also document verification and authentication. We work with WorldCheck and Polixis for the anti-money laundering screening. We work with Indigita for the cross-border and the suitability checks. We work with telesigns for the SMS two-factor authentications, and we work with UiPath for the robot process automations when we look to integrate our solutions to our customer backend systems. And of course, we have BRP. Here we act as a third-party quality assurance to ensure that we're delivering solutions that are in line with the relevant regulation. But we won't be anything without our clients, and customers and our clients are at the heart of everything we do. And that's why we wanted to showcase some of the testimonials here for you today. And basically, what we also are very proud to do is adapt our solutions to our clients' requirements, so we can bring in any technology partners throughout the process and adapt our workflows, our solutions to the client's specific requirements, processes, governance, and organization. Thank you very much for being here today and for listening. If you have any questions, you can contact us at www.id4clm.com, or we're here for the rest of the afternoon. Thank you.
Oops. I will give you a great demo of that at some point. Let's do French Polynesia. Let's gather windows. Yeah, I wish. 4 minutes and counting, I know, hold on. Guess we should have done a secondary check. Try this one. See if we get the same behavior. Oh, same behavior. Yeah, let's. Let's see the other ones.
Okay, all right. Yeah, there is no option either. Can I see it? Go for it. The options range concern. Yeah, we know.
There we go. See what's happening. All right. Let's go to this view. All right. Now we're ready to get started. So that's the fun of doing a live demo, but actually doing a live demo. I'm Devin Redmond. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Theta Lake. We do security and compliance for modern collaboration platforms. What that means is we can connect with any modern collaboration system such as Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Slack, WebEx, you name it, and actually collect content from those platforms through seamless integrations where you can just select and click through using whatever integration we've worked on with that partner. So it could be OAuth, could be another mechanism. And you can see a wide range of coverage for collaboration platforms as an example. So as we connect with those for an organization to be able to do archiving, supervision, review, risk identification, we take that content in through those integrations, and then we provide the ability to actually make all of that searchable in that environment. So you can see here I've got a collection of Teams chat as an example. You can see we present that in a fully native view, so we're not taking that and trying to chunk it up into EML files and send it to an email archive and make it very difficult to search from that perspective. We provide a fully native view in our system. We can actually send that native view to a third-party archive as well. You can see inside of this Teams chat good representation of modern content, right? So you can see everything from emojis and reactions inside of that to this particular scenario here where there's actually a document inside of that content. So I'm going to go ahead and click there and open that document up, and you'll see this is actually in a document with social security numbers that have actually been identified by the system. So you'll see risk scores that actually live inside of this next to that as well. So capturing the content, scoring it for risk, making it easy to search, and then once we've done that, the other thing that you can do inside of the system is treat each of those pieces of content differently in terms of workflow. So I'm going to give you an example here where I go back into our Smart Workflow Review, and you'll see these are all different routing rules, understanding that each customer may have very different demographics or types of content that they capture. They may have groups of regulated users, unregulated users, users in different geographies that have different requirements. You can very simply set up rules inside of the system so that as you're taking content in and as you want to surface it for analysis, you can go ahead and grab something, for example, like let's pick the Zoom team here in the UK, and we will open that up. And you'll see we can say, hey, for this group of users who happen to be in the UK that are my Zoom financial advisors that are leveraging Zoom to talk to clients, I want to run them through a specific detection policy that's designed to find things that the FCA is going to care about in that environment. Once I've done that, I want to take that through a very specific set of workflow steps, so each reviewer has actions assigned to them that they need to be able to accomplish inside of that review. I can define those there and send them to that set of workflows. And then when I'm done with that, I can send them to a very specific archive policy. And again, we can be an archive of record. We do attestations. We often serve as the archive of record for our customers in North America, the UK, Europe. But similarly, the same way that we think about taking data into the system and making it easy to analyze, we also think about the fact that there is a lot of infrastructure inside of customer environments, and we help bridge that gap for those systems. So you can easily, and just as easily as you've taken content in from a collaboration platform and analyzed it, make that available for third-party systems to consume as well. So I could easily add an integration here to say, hey, I want to send all of the data to an S3 bucket, or I want to send it to an SMTP archive generically, or I want to send it to a specific integration like a Veritas or an Enterprise Vault, or I want to export it using something like Secure FTP. All of those capabilities are available as well in the system. And then I will just show one more thing in there. And if you wanted to, I skipped across a couple tabs, but I showed you things inside of search. The ultimate goal and the thought I'll leave you with is the ability to transform how your compliance teams do review. So not only can you search everything, but you can prioritize based on detections that you find in content, based on risk scores related to that. So you can say, if I see these 5 detections, I want to increase the risk score inside of this particular conversation. And then based on that risk score, I could use one of those swerve rules, the routing, to say, hey, put this in front of my key review crew. So this could be that same swerve workflow that we talked about just a second ago for FAs in the United Kingdom. And once I do that, I can put this Zoom recording, right? This is an actual video here of a Zoom recording in front of those reviewers, and then tell them where we found items of interest. So you can see right here, I'm sitting right at this red dot, which lines up with these notes that the system made automatically. So this is the machine learning that's detecting a risk that was on screen. And you can see what it detected as social security numbers. It detected URLs being shared open on screen. It detected Office and document apps being shared on screen inside of those communications. So thinking through the future of what you're going to need to be able to do quickly and efficiently inside of modern communications, and doing that and surfacing that in a very easy to use workflow that helps drive users through the system. So that's what we do at Theta Lake. Thought I'd give you a little sample of that and a little show of what it's like to do a live demo at the same time. So appreciate everybody's time and attention.
Hello. Okay. Okay, thanks. So, bear with me a second. Okay, good. Hi there. So I'm Martin Hemmings. I'm representing Know Your Customer today. Know Your Customer. We've been established since 2015. Offices in London, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Shanghai. We've got staff based in 17 countries, clients across 11 sectors and 18 jurisdictions. Know Your Customer, what do? We provide a digital solution for onboarding corporates. Why do we do this? This is because the traditional route at the moment, manual paper-based approach, is too risky, it's unscalable, and also because of corporate databases, for a number of reasons, do not satisfy the regulators, and in-house digitalization usually means a PDF version of a paper-based process. So how do we do that? So how do we digitalize the corporate onboarding process? Firstly, and most irritatingly for the customer itself, is the document collection. So we retrieve the documents in real time directly from the official source, and the official source being the government registries. We also use our machine intelligence to extract information. So that's identifying the shareholders, the layers, the corporate structures, and ultimately the beneficial owners of the company. It's all wrapped in case management, so you have a full workflow with our solution. We integrate with all the AML providers, so we can perform those initial checks and those ongoing checks for those individuals and entities that you've pulled down from the government registries. And finally, we wrap that in with full reporting and an immutable audit trail. Just a bit on the tech. It's cloud-based, so it's quick to deploy. We have customers up and running in a day or two. We also have fast integration with REST APIs, which means we can plug into your own internal onboarding platforms or CRM systems, however how that journey looks. We can take part of our solution, or you can take the full end-to-end. As I mentioned before, we're compatible with all the AML providers, and we also have secure user outreach and IDV. Okay, so I'm not too sure. Am I able to press play on this? One more, yeah? Oh, we're off. So yeah, this is a brief case in action here. So we're connected to the Hong Kong registry there, where you'll go and be presented with the company you're looking for the correct match. We'll then proceed to build the case out with all the key information, the registration number, etc., etc. We've pulled through the company incorporation documents for you. So that's literally downloaded from the source and the latest available information documents. We'll pull through all the documents that are available. You can see there we do the AML checks through your AML provider, so no matches there for that particular company. And then we extract all the directors, the people running the company, the shareholders, down to the UBOs. We also provide that nice company structure, so your compliance officers can come in and look at the relationships between those controlling entities down to the UBOs. And at the end of the process, we give you the tools to then, your compliance team, to close the case once you've remediated everything, and provide you with a full audit report and immutable audit trail and a full KYC report. So how does that improve the onboarding process? Well, the industry standard at the moment average, is around about 26 days to onboard a corporate. And we can reduce that to 1 day, but in theory, we can do that in minutes or hours. Why is this also great? It's great for the customer as well. The customer doesn't feel a lot of it. They're not being asked to go and request information, and there's no compromise on the compliance. Just a bit about our customers here. These are the ones that we're at liberty to show today, and some of the awards that we've won. And that's me. I'm around today. If you want to have another tour of the platform, a deeper dive, then obviously here's my contact details. Feel free to get in touch.
Hi, good afternoon. My name's Alan. I'm from APX, and I'm going to be spending 4 minutes or so, probably less, explaining how we make compliance radically simple for the clients that we work with. So let's start with the problems with regulation. I think you all know very well some of the issues that are around. Thousands of regulatory changes every year, billions spent on complying with those changes, even more spent on fines and penalties. In some institutions, as many as 15% of the people that work there are just working in compliance roles. This boils down to about an 8% tax on all income is spent on compliance. So this is, in our opinion, not ideal and is urgently required to change. So how are we going to do that? So if you imagine you're working in a financial institution and you're working in your client relationship management tool or your trading tool, and within that tool, you're able to know exactly what you can or can't do. You either get a pop-up telling you there's a regulatory issue, or you're just not permitted to do a certain action. And this is possible because the regulatory knowledge for that determination is coming from top-tier law firms for pretty much every jurisdiction in the world. So right here in the systems and processes that you're using, right now at the time when you need to know it, you stay compliant. And the regulatory knowledge is key. So we're partnering with top-tier law firms and advisory firms around the world. We're taking all of their regulatory know-how, and we are digitizing that, and we are serving that out into our clients' systems and processes. So they get to trust the technology that comes from us, because this is all we do, and they trust the regulatory knowledge that comes through from our partners, because they're the best firms in the world doing this. And the outcome is that we effectively become a business enablement solution. So we achieve increased revenues, reduced costs, and most importantly, reduced risk. So our clients are able to do more business with more clients more effectively more of the time. That's your increasing revenues. We reduce the need for trainings, compliance training, for attestations, for going and getting legal opinions, you name it, all these usual costs of compliance. These are now eliminated, or we can eliminate those. And because you get clear do's or do nots in terms of the activities that you're performing, the risk of breaches and the risk of non-compliance, we would like to think is as close to zero as we can possibly get it. So this is what we do. We're out there somewhere near the food, or if you're on the Umbrella platform, please do come and give one of us search up APX and give one of us a shout, and we'll have a chat with you. Thanks.
Good afternoon. So, the other way always helps. That's better. I'm Julian Samuels, Head of Sales. Being Head of Sales, I tend to talk too much. So I'm just going to put a timer on, which is probably not a bad idea. Let's do that. Yeah, just want to tell you a little bit, if you've not heard of WorkSmart, we certainly do the conference circuits. We're well known to some. We're a privately owned British company, been in business since '95, specialising in compliance solutions to the finance sector. I'm going to talk to you today about one of our three main solutions, which is the senior managers and certification regime. We also do complaints management and training and competency. We, as I mentioned, we're privately owned. We are debt-free. We've got cash in the bank, and we're not venture capital owned. I mention this because the FCA seem to have an increasing focus now on operational resilience in terms of the vendors you choose. So I would mention it's always a good idea now just to check into the financial background of some of the vendors you might choose to do business with. So that's us. I just wanted really to outline the challenge behind managing SMCR. All FCA-regulated financial institutions, as you know, have to be managing this now. Interestingly, only a minority are managing the various aspects of this through a dedicated solution. Most companies are trying to manage this through existing technologies, so a combination of HR systems, learning management systems, glued together with spreadsheets. The challenge, and it's an increasing challenge with every year that passes in trying to manage all the information that goes towards submitting returns for this regime, is the constant change, the change of regulations, the people, your own staff that are joining and leaving, their particular roles, which are constantly changing, and within those roles, an element of delegation to other people, be it on a permanent basis or maybe when they go on holiday. All of that has to be tracked and managed and reported on, particularly if the FCA choose your company to audit. And they will want proof at any particular point in time of what was going on in your organisation. So a lot of moving components, managed typically in the majority of organisations across disparate applications. So what our solution does is it consolidates all this information and it instills and optimises good process. It automates that process, and in automating that process, everything you do within the solution actually automatically creates a time-stamped audit trail. And that's the key point. So if the FCA come calling, they want to know, for instance, why a particular decision was made June the 17th, 2017, you can scroll the system back on a timeline and actually get a snapshot of the organisation at any particular point in time and demonstrate easily exactly why a particular decision was made, by whom it was made, what their credentials were, whether they were qualified to make those decisions even as part of a committee. So it gives you control and oversight, but most importantly, it gives you a single source of truth. I haven't got time to actually demonstrate the system, but what I thought I'd do is just show you 3 quick screenshots. The first one just demonstrates that actually the bulk of your population, your senior managers, your certificated staff, will just be emailed with calls to action. So if there's a fit and proper attestation due, they'll get an email, they'll get a link to that form, and it will just take them to that form. They can fill that form out. If you're an administrator on the system, you get a view of your team, you get a dashboard to show you where everyone is, what's due, what's overdue. It allows you to manage and report across the whole system. And finally, I'll just leave you with a governance map. This is an interactive map that actually is mineable. You can drill down. It will show you the committees, the boards, the various committees, who's on them, what their roles are, what their skill sets are, whether There are people missing on those committees who are expected to be on them. Terms of reference, and again, on a timeline, you can scroll back through this system to any point in time and demonstrate exactly to the FCA the structure of your business and governance at that point in time. If that's of interest, if you haven't got a dedicated solution for your SMCR and you find it's getting more and more problematic, as it does every year as things, as the volumes increase, come and seek us out on stand number 7 or email us, and we'd be very pleased to chat some more. Thanks ever so much. Cheers.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are around the world. My name is Anthony Kay. I'm also joined by our product expert, Mary Wong, and today we're going to tell you about LexisNexis regulatory compliance. So only got 5 minutes, going to be relatively quick. So who is LexisNexis? We're known for our legal content and technology solutions, but today we're going to talk to you about how we're combining that legal content from our experts with regulatory technology. Also an opportunity for a demo for you to see it yourself, and then how to get in touch should you see something that you like. So quickly, who is LexisNexis? Well, we're a leading global provider of legal information and analytics. We're part of the RELX group, a FTSE company. Been around for about 200 years with customers across 130 countries. And ultimately, we enable professionals in multiple settings to achieve better business outcomes. But today, we're here to talk to you about LexisNexis regulatory compliance, where we've combined regulatory content from our legal experts with technology from our product experts to empower users to take control of their compliance obligations. And how do we do that? Well, the product is, at its core, a ready-made library of obligations, or a register of obligations. It's written by our legal experts. It's in practical guidance with easy-to-understand English. There are consequences of non-compliance, how to be compliant, sources of legislation, and practical tools such as checklists and forms. Being a tech solution, the content is automatically updated when the underlying regulation is updated. The user receives alerts on changes and upcoming changes. The content is available as pure content or via an API, so it plugs directly into your GRC system, so into your workflow. And we currently have 120 modules across 8 jurisdictions, so a truly global solution. But enough from me. Why don't you see it for yourself, and I'll hand over to Mary, who do a bit of a demo.
Thanks, Tony. Now let's have a look at the privacy and data protection module, designed for organisations operating in the UK. Each obligation register starts with an overview outlining the coverage of the register. Key compliance areas are grouped and sequenced as per business processes into core obligations. Each core obligation is then split into several sub-obligations where the various aspects of the core obligations are expanded upon. Each obligation contains practical guidance in plain business language explaining what are the legal requirements and how you can comply. What are the remedial actions if you're not compliant? The consequences of non-compliance, and finally, the list of compliance sources which forms the basis of the obligation. The important thing to note is that compliance sources is not limited to the primary act, but also rules, regulations, codes of conduct, and standards. All obligations are actively monitored and updated as and when required, and new obligations are introduced as new requirements emerges. Pertinent changes are notified through alerts such as this. Each alert contains the related obligations, the compliance sources, the change itself, but most importantly, the impact on the related obligations. The information can also be viewed in reverse, where the starting point is the compliance source. And all metadata associated with the compliance source, the regulators who administers it, and the compliance source hierarchy, from parts to chapters through to the various sections. And here you'll see the core applications and sub-applications, and also alerts where applicable. All of this is to support the analysis, workflows, and reporting for the compliance professional. All shown content can be consumed by the organization's chosen GRC system via an API. Now back to you, Tony.
Great. So just to finish off, if there is something there you like, please do get in touch with either myself or Mary. Our emails are there. And please do feel free to snapshot this screen so you've got the links. And if you want to continue the conversation, we're going to deep dive into one of our modules, cybersecurity, at a webinar on the 2nd of November. So do sign up and see how cybersecurity issues impact domestic and international businesses. So that was LexisNexis with regulatory compliance. Thank you for your attention.
Welcome to this introduction and demo of Requirement 1. My name is Martin Gorm Petersen and I'm the CEO and co-founder. In short, Requirement 1 supercharges a compliance user to get more done, spend more time on value-added activities and lower overall risk and cost. If we look at the challenge of regulatory developments, then on a daily basis, around 900 regulators push out hundreds of updates that might be relevant to your organization. Requirement 1 has created the most diverse and largest data lake within regulatory developments available to any of our customers. That means that we can surface regulatory developments in real time to the right team as you see fit. We also have a very strong collaborative platform. We use a Lego principle where you have different apps that allows you as a compliance person to triage regulatory developments and also manage the impact on any downstream processes. And on top of that, we allow you to manage all of your policies and procedures, requirements, etc., that ensures that you have all the information in one central location when audit time comes, and of course, for real-time reporting. We also have extensive robotic process automation that helps you remove many of these tedious manual tasks that take place in the everyday in terms of follow-up, translations, escalations, etc. It results in an average saving between 20 and 80% on these different vertical activities for the clients we work with. And we typically work with clients ranging from international financial service institutions to smaller asset managers. In terms of the product itself, then it's delivered via a browser, so you can get very quick access and there's very quick time to value. Let's try to dig into how the product looks like in detail. We give our users the very best start to the day by providing a personalized digest every morning where they can see what regulatory developments have taken place, what kind of assignments are they responsible for, or other key areas of interest. We deliver this by matching all the regulatory developments against an intelligent taxonomy that is tailored by the organization to give just the right results to the right audience. It's a very quick and very efficient way of skimming anything that is relevant, requires a minimum of time on the end user's part. You can then move into the product if you want to start to action the various activities that you've been informed about. The interface is fully customizable. You define which, let's say, regulatory developments, actions, risks, policy reviews, procedure reviews, or indeed any other activity that you are involved in. The uniqueness of what is really special about the Requirement 1 platform is that you can tailor it to pretty much any use case that is relevant for your organization. So it's not a hard-coded piece of software. It is a apps-based approach where you get all the flexibility that you need, at the same time getting necessary pre-configured functionality to allow you to carry out your regular compliance tasks. If we dig further into the regulatory developments, as we can see here, they have been streamlined and standardized into a single format. They've been translated so that you can easily understand also regulatory developments that comes from abroad that might be relevant to you, and they are cross-referenced to any impact that there might be within your system. It could be a policy that's impacted or a risk, or indeed somebody that needs to take action. Very, very quick to consume, very easy to collaborate with your stakeholders. If we dig into some of the policies that are managed on the system, then it's very easy for both the managers and the people responsible for policies to either develop them or manage change. Imagine again that this system connects all the regulatory developments and the impact within the same universe. So you can very quickly adapt policies to a regulatory development to make sure that you're compliant. And you do that and have the ability to do that in almost real time, which is a huge leap forward compared to doing this manually, and it saves a significant amount of time. Likewise, end users will also be able to consume, let's say, for example, policies directly in the system, so that you ensure compliance. We also have a very flexible reporting engine so that any kind of documentation that you export from the system is in the look and feel of your organization. Last but not least, we also provide comprehensive reporting that allows you to slice and dice the data any way you want. You can either have the MI reports that are relevant, or you can indeed have daily operational reports that help you understand where we're with the change management, what kind of tasks are in the pipeline, what is the load, and generally how is our compliance status, or indeed our risk review as an example. If you want to hear more about Requirement One and how we can help you, then I strongly encourage you to go to our website, or you can go to summit.requirementone.com to get in touch, and then we'll be happy to walk you through the platform in more detail.
Since the challenge has been put down to do a live demo, yeah? Right. Can we do this? So I'm Steve D'Souza. I'm Sales Director for RecordSure, and I suppose globally, but we're only really in the UK, so it doesn't really matter about that. So we are a 8-year-old startup, and what we do is we do voice analytics and use AI in terms of machine learning and NLP to be able to provide a cutting-edge capture and analysis of customer interactions. So we're focusing on customers. We're focusing on the quality assurance aspect of it from a financial services point of view. And sorry, have I got a... Someone's nicked it. It was you. Okay. Yes. I mean, just flip me on, if you see what I mean. Okay, so what we're trying to solve, and the problem we're trying to solve, is that quality assurance in financial services is a random-based approach. Basically, people do a 5% or 10%. We actually had one client that did 15%, but that's the top end of what we've seen of selection of quality assurance businesses with it, of the calls that they make. What we do is we take that and we make it 100%, and we apply a risk-based approach to being able to do that. And what we've found in our major tier 1 banks that we work with is that that is a 50% cost savings, or a ability to do twice as much work in that particular area with the same amount of staff. The next slide, and that's basically what that does, that says, right? So let me show it to you, because that's the easiest way to look at it, and see how I go with this. Okay, so I'm sorry, the screen resolution is not great on this, but thank you, just in time. This is a bit like our UK supply chain. Well, it arrived, but with no use whatsoever. So from that point of view, this is a recording. So what we're going to do is focus on a recording, a voice recording within an organization. And this, what we do is we take that voice recording, we capture it. So we have an application that allows you to take things from existing services, such as Verint or any other sort of call center approaches. We also do things across unified communication. So we also work with RingCentral and Dubber and people like that to be able to take these recordings in place. We also have a face-to-face app. So if people are doing face-to-face, they can use our app to be able to drive that. And then what you end up with is this recording. So this recording is then classified. So we apply a machine learning approach to it to get the transcript. And our transcript is very focused on financial services. So we actually get somewhere in the region of 5% word error rates, which is the equivalent of a typist. And then what we do is we classify the calls according to the type of information that's required in that particular call. This means that as an organization doing QA, you focus exactly on the things that you're looking for. So in this instance, at the bottom here, If we deselect everything, we can go specifically to the expenditure for that particular client, or where they talked about the pension, or where they talked about their investments. And in each of those, it takes you to, if you press on the, firstly you get, if this was enabled for a voice, you'd be able to hear them, but you also go directly to the part of the transcript that is associated with that part of the recording itself. We then take, so that's the classification, so we're able to utilize two things there. Firstly, you get the 100% transcript, or a really close transcript. You get the classification broken into particular areas. From an advisor point of view, at the front end of the retail world, that transcript is very useful for them to be able to utilize and reduce the admin time that they do. And from a assurance point of view, the classification means you go directly to the part of the call that is related to that part of your assurance that you want to look for. We also do assurance, which is to take the QA module, or the QA assurance framework that the organization has, and apply those rules to that particular call. So, for example, here, this one, where the KYC classifications, have they been detected, it will show you, if this was working a bit quicker, the ability to do those classifications and show you where in the call that took place. And then lastly, from the point of view, well, two things. Lastly, from within the call itself, we allow you to do a compliance review. So part of that is to say, within this call, we have a form, basically, that is associated with the organization to be able to take those details, add the data that's required from a QA point of view, and add those notes in as we're going along. So that's part of the process. We also then surface all of that from a management information point of view. We surface all of that into a whole bunch of BI stuff that you can write yourself, but you know, it looks funky from our point of view. That's what we do. Just trying to think if there's anything else. The whole thing about this is with AI, it's data, it's models, and it's a result. So from our point of view, we have a number of models. We have an ability to utilize the data because we are using data from tier 1 banks within the UK that have trained our system to be able to do this. And we're very focused on the financial services market. That's it. If anyone wants this, please.
Right, last but not least, good to see everyone in person rather than a face on a screen. I'm just going to take you through telemessage and what we do. Oh, no, wrong one. There you go. My name's Mark Elberfeld. I'm the UK Sales Director. What we do, we specialise in recording mobile communications, but I would say over the last 2 years, predominantly that's all been around instant messaging. The growth in WhatsApp, WeChat, Telegram and Signal has just grown and grown. And that's not so much more about the pandemic, it's about how the customers now want to communicate going forward. So there's a growing trend and there's growing pressures within the marketplace to allow the traders within the marketplace to actually communicate via instant messaging. And by not doing that, you're impacting potentially the business that they're doing. So it's about empowering the employees. So as I said, as a company, we record all mobile communications. So that's voice, SMS, MMS. But today, we're focusing really on the instant messaging because that's the one that's really driving the marketplace at the moment. So as you see, we capture WhatsApp, WeChat, Signal, and Telegram. So we're covering the major ones. So, and one of our strong points is we don't actually look to keep that data and archive that for you. We can do, but our strong point is we have a lot of integration down with the archiving and surveillance platforms in the marketplace because the pressure is about centralising all that data to make it easy retrieval for the end client. So I've just got a small demo just on WhatsApp.
Telemessage can capture and archive any WhatsApp message and attachment, including text, images, videos, and audio clips, as well as message deletions. Our WhatsApp Archiver wrapper supports iOS and Android phones on corporate or BYOD employee-owned devices, as well as the desktop and web versions. In short, with Telemessage, employees can keep using the standard WhatsApp application while supporting full company archival and retrieval of all messages. Let's get started with our demo. In this demo, we will use two phones, an Android smartphone on the right and an iPhone on the left. Both phones have the Telemessage WhatsApp Archiver installed, enabling full archival search and retrieval. Telemessage's WhatsApp Archiver is identical to the regular WhatsApp application that you can download from Google Play or App Store. We keep intact the WhatsApp security and end-to-end encryption when communication with other WhatsApp users and the WhatsApp Facebook servers. The only difference is that Telemessage adds a wrapper which captures all incoming and outgoing WhatsApp messages for archiving purposes. We'll start by tapping the WhatsApp Archiver icon on the Android phone, and as you see, the standard WhatsApp chat interface is displayed. We start by sending a message and attachment which were received and responded to. We then tap the camera icon and generate a picture attachment, to which we add a caption and then send. As stated, we can also send and receive WhatsApp chats using the web interface. We log in with the standard QR code scan, here composing a PC-based message and attaching a local file. Now let's see how these chats appear in the archive. Telemessage is integrated with numerous archiving platforms, but for this demo we will display the messages in a simple, free Outlook Live interface. The inherent robust capabilities in the Telemessage WhatsApp Archive router fully captures message and employee metadata, making search and filter queries intuitive and friendly. Note that search capabilities are defined by your archival interface. Here we show employee email as a search criteria, as well as any text strings. In this demonstration, we have shown how Telemessage's WhatsApp Archiver looks, feels.
Right, so that's just a snippet of one of our solutions around the WhatsApp. Now, what differentiates us in the marketplace is not only are we recording messages, but there's the deleted message element, but there's also WhatsApp voice calls as well, with that we can actually record. So obviously don't have time to go through how we're doing this and the technology behind it, but this is all about empowering and enabling the actual people within the marketplace to conduct more business with their own clients, and still feel comfortable that it's meeting all your global and regulatory requirements within the marketplace, whether in the UK, North America or the Far East. As we said, we cover BYOD and corporate devices, and we have all the ISOs in place and everything as well. So from a security point of view, you can rest assured. But so one of our key points is the integration that we have with the client's own archiving and surveillance platforms. So if you'd like to know more, there's my email. You can go to the Telemessage website, or feel free to give me a call or see me afterwards. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. That brings us to the end of the demo stage. That's not everything that we have prepared for the day. So we still have plenty of content coming up in the main stage, including presentation for Passport and a panel starting shortly on the latest technologies and how you can use them to meet regulatory requirements, with participation for Bank of England, Nomura, and NatWest. So again, for everyone that was here today or for all our virtual delegates, if you have any questions about any of the demonstrations that you just saw today, feel free to grab any of the presenters that are here at the venue in person, or reach out to them on the Brella app if you are joining us online. So thanks for joining the stream, and yeah, head over to the main stage for the remainder of the day. Thank you.